Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, or Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I wanted to go into the fact that America is Babylon the Great. It's also called Mystery Babylon. It's called the Daughter of Babylon. It's called Assyria. It's called Nineveh. It's called Sodom. It's called Egypt, and other names. And this all goes back to when the Bible was being written through the prophets. America didn't exist at that point. And since it didn't exist, they had to come up with names that they could use for it. And they used names of, back in their time, those current kingdoms or past kingdoms to describe it. And you just look at it and you still see people in denial that America, or US of A, is the place where the great destruction will occur. And for them, it's just look at the history of this place. Look at how it was taken or stolen. Look at the bloodshed to steal it. Look at the slavery of the southern kingdom, primarily Judah. And even the slavery of Gad and Reuben and Levi and Benjamin. You see just the wickedness of this place through its history. You also have to look at how it was founded and who founded it, which were a bunch of warlocks, which people call the founding fathers. Just look at pictures of them in their Masonic drab, and you should be able to tell that this place is wicked. Look at the money. That's witchcraft. This place is wicked. Look at what they did post-slavery when they should have been trying to help Judah. Instead, they just held Judah back. Judah would build up cities, and the Edomites, the self-proclaimed white people, would come in and tear them down, burn them down, and put lakes over it. And then throughout civil rights, we've all seen the images of the fire hoses and dogs during that. And currently, America, or Babylon, through its CIA, goes around destabilizing nations and stealing resources. It's a wicked place, and it's ran by wicked people. The wicked of the Bible, that being the Edomites, the so-called Caucasians, or the so-called white people. That's the wicked of the Bible, and they run Babylon, as well as the beast, which is made up of NATO and the EU. But just getting into it, we're going to start out here at Jeremiah 50 and verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? The hammer of the earth. There's that movie that came out years ago from the creators of South Park, Team America, World Police. And it's well known that America goes around enforcing its policies and ways onto the different nations. And since it's at least previously had the strongest military, it was able to do that. And so it was able to beat these nations into submission of democracy, submission to alphabet lifestyles, submission to feminism, and things that actually hurt these nations. And that's why it's called the hammer of the earth, because it can beat the other nations, and it has been imposing its will onto the other nations for far too long. But it will be broken asunder. It will be left desolate. Moving on, because we're just going to go through these quickly. Just, people, I've seen people, and even recently, just today, I saw some guys saying that no, on the internet, on a comment board, saying that no, Babylon or America is not Babylon the Great, and this was in a Bible thread, and so people still believe that America is really a good place, but the Lord hates this place, and He hates the people that run it, and it's just working down the list. It's who else could it be? Is it the Vatican? The answer is no. Is it Iraq, where ancient Babylon was? The answer is no. And I even think a lot of people saying that it's Iraq is because they try to say that the Edomites are the Arabs, but no, the Edomites are so-called white people. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 37. It says, "A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed." So it's about time that this place becomes spoiled. But the point being the mingled people, America is called a melting pot, and that's because people from all over the world come here and they bring their customs and their religions, and all these various philosophies are mingled together. You can't say that about the Vatican, and you can't say that about Iraq. You can only say that about America. This is, as they call it, the Great Experiment. And so, no, it's none of these other places. It is America. Oh, yeah, and with the hammer of the whole earth, going back to that just for one moment, I think it's one of the Roosevelts. I think Teddy Roosevelt. And he said, "Speak softly, but carry a big stick." And that's going into being able to beat the nations to your will. But moving on, that was just a side note. But Jeremiah 50 and verse 12, it says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded," that being Britain, because America was birthed out of Britain, as well as Spain and France. That's why you have Spanish or regions within America that have a lot of Spanish names there, and or have a lot of French names or British names like New York. But verse 12, it says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded," that being Britain. "She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert." The hindermost of the nations, America, obviously, it's the New World, the whole other side of the earth. And again, that can't be the Vatican, and it can't be Iraq. Those are Iraq's in the what they call the Middle East. That's not hindermost. And the Vatican's right there in the middle of Italy. It's not the hindermost. It's just, I think a lot of these people that say that, they understand that the Edomites would run Babylon the Great, and they don't want to be, they're just running away from being Edomites, and they're running away from America being Babylon the Great. But you can't run. This is Revelation 18 in verse 3. "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication," that being Babylon's philosophies that it pushes around the earth like it's democracy. And it says, "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." America is a consumer nation. That's how the kings of the earth and these other nations have been able to get rich off of America. These merchants send their cheap products here at an extremely marked up price, and Americans buy it. And then it's also through the petrodollar, which is the world currency for the buying and selling of oil. And so that has been able to push the value of the dollar up for a very long time, up until especially recently, we've been seeing inflation. And I did a lesson not too long ago about how, since being taken off the gold standard during the other Roosevelt, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, that that prices have increased by 2,500%. And so all this is a thing of the past, with these merchants waxing rich from America. It's still not over, so there's still money for them to be made, but this is coming to a halt. And we're going to jump down to Revelation 11, still with the merchants. And it says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more." So once Babylon is destroyed, they're going to be sad that their cash cow is dead. It's been put to slaughter. But again, back to the Vatican and Iraq arguments. Nobody buys anything from the Vatican. And besides oil, what are people buying from Iraq? It's America. This place, Babylon the Great, this mystery place, is America. And we're going to go back to Jeremiah to finish this out. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand." In this place, it was said that gold lined the streets, because this is Esau's heaven. This is his blessing. So he talked it up as much as he could. But it's really, if you take a look at it harder, it's just lipstick on a pig. It's really a filthy place filled with filthy degenerates, immorals here, and it just looks good on the outside. It's really a disgusting place, but the Lord has lifted it up, and it's been held high in reverence among the other nations. But it's time to put that cup away. It says that made all the earth drunken, and that's again through the philosophies that it pushes around, like it's Christianity, which is a whole nother thing. That is a really big way in which the devil, being the Edomites, have deceived the whole earth by painting their images and for the biblical images, and it just being a giant deception. But that's being revealed as well, just like it's being revealed that America is Babylon the Great. It says, "The nations have drunken over wine, therefore the nations are mad," because they've taken in all these philosophies and they see that they do not work. They lead to death because these philosophies are completely adverse to the philosophies or the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. Keeping His laws are life. Going against it is death. And that's why Babylon will be put down. It's gone completely left, and the Lord's going to send nukes on it, and a great, great destruction, because it's going to be civil wars and world wars, complete falling of the economy. The people are going to turn against it. The chariots are going to attack it. It's going to be completely put down. And then, once it's put down, it will be left as a memorial forever and ever of where wickedness dwelt. And if it was, going back to the Iraq and Vatican argument, if it was ancient Babylon and Iraq, it didn't happen like that. You could go read about it in Daniel chapter 5. The kingdom was just translated. It didn't go out in an epic fire. It's still there. People still live there. If it's the Vatican, it's just not the Vatican. It's not the Vatican. It's not Iraq. It's America. That's the place of the great judgment and the great deliverance. Where else have the saints been but here in America? It's the northern and southern kingdom, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this place has been drunken with the blood of the saints, and now it's time to pay. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.